Before the universe existed, there was only water. You've heard one creation story your whole life, but ancient Egypt had three. Three completely different versions of how the world began, and they all claimed to be true. Here's what makes this wild. These weren't competing theories. They coexisted simultaneously. However, each one served a different purpose, protected a different power, and revealed a different truth about how the Egyptians understood reality itself. The real question isn't which one was right. It's why they needed three stories when one would do.
Let's start in Heliopolis, the city of the sun. Picture this, an endless dark ocean called none. Nothing exists. No land, no sky, no life. Just infinite primordial water stretching into forever. Then Atum appears. Not born, not created, he simply is. Atum stands on a mound that rises from the chaos, the first solid ground in all existence, the Ben stone. You know this shape, actually. Every obelisk and pyramid you've seen, that's the Ben. The Egyptians were obsessed with recreating this first moment. But here's where it gets stranger. Atum is alone, completely alone in an empty universe. So he does something radical. He creates through his own body. He sneezes. He spits. He performs an act of self-generation that creates Shu, the god of air, and Tefnut, the goddess of moisture. Two from one. Shu and Tefnut embrace, and from their union come Geb, the earth, and Nut, the sky. These two fall so deeply in love that they won't separate, locked in eternal embrace. So Shu, their father, forces them apart. He lifts Nut up to form the arching sky, while Geb remains below as the ground beneath your feet. This is the Ennead, 9 gods who form the foundation of existence. But notice what Heliopolis really cared about. The sun. Atum eventually becomes Ra, the sun god. This creation story glorifies solar power, divine kingship, and the supremacy of light over darkness. Heliopolis wasn't just telling a story, they were establishing religious dominance. The priests of Ra used this myth to position themselves as guardians of the universe's greatest secret.
Now, travel north to Memphis. Different city, different god, different universe entirely. In Memphis, the creator isn't Atum, it's Ptah. And Ptah doesn't sneeze the world into being, that's primitive, crude. But Ptah does something far more sophisticated. He thinks and speaks creation into existence. This is profound. Ptah conceives the universe in his heart, the Egyptian seat of thought and wisdom. Then he speaks it aloud through his tongue. Every god, every creature, every grain of sand materializes through divine speech and thought. Let there be light. Sound familiar? The Memphis theology predates similar concepts by millennia. But there's a twist. The Memphite priests didn't just create an alternative story, they performed an intellectual coup. They claimed Ptah created all the other gods, including Atum. In their version, Heliopolis' entire creation myth happens inside Ptah's grand design. Atum, just another spoke in Ptah's cosmic wheel. This wasn't just theology, this was politics. Memphis was Egypt's political capital during the Old Kingdom. The pharaohs ruled from there. And what better way to legitimize royal power than claiming your city's god literally thought the universe into existence? That your god was the architect behind all other gods? The Memphis creation myth represents intellectual sophistication, the power of language, and the authority of the craftsman-creator. Ptah was the patron of artisans and builders, after all. When you speak, you create reality. That's the message.
Now journeys south to Thebes. By the time Thebes rose to prominence during the Middle and New Kingdoms, Heliopolis and Memphis had already established their creation narratives. Thebes needed something different, something that could absorb and transcend the others. Enter Amun. Amun's name means the Hidden One, and his creation story reflects this mystery. Amun exists before existence, an invisible force, a hidden power that contains all potential. He's the breath in the void, the concealed dynamo that powers reality itself. But here's the brilliant move Thebes made. They merged Amun with Ra, Amun-Ra, the hidden sun, the invisible power behind the visible light. By fusing their local god with Heliopolis's supreme deity, Theban priests created a theological superweapon. They didn't reject the older myths, they absorbed them, transcended them, and claimed ultimate authority. In the Theban version, Amun creates himself from himself within the primordial waters. He's simultaneously the first cause and the hidden sustainer. He's everywhere and nowhere, known and unknowable. This is mystical theology. The Theban creation story represents the ultimate divine mystery, that the true creator is beyond human comprehension, that the universe operates on principles we can barely perceive. It's more abstract, more philosophical than its predecessors. And it worked. During the New Kingdom, when Egypt reached its imperial zenith, Amun-Ra became the king of gods. The Temple of Karnak in Thebes became the wealthiest religious complex in the ancient world. The priests of Amun wielded power that rivaled pharaohs themselves. So why did ancient Egypt maintain three contradictory creation myths? Because truth, to the Egyptians, wasn't singular. It was multifaceted. Each myth served a different function. Heliopolis gave them cosmic order, the reliable cycle of the sun, the structure of divine hierarchy. Memphis gave them intellectual framework, the power of thought and speech, the dignity of craftsmanship. Thebes gave them mystery, the unknowable essence behind all things. And here's what modern people miss. These weren't competing like scientific theories fighting for dominance. They were complementary. They were different lenses through which to view the same eternal truth. One emphasized action, another emphasized thought, another emphasized mystery. The Egyptians understood that reality is too vast, too complex for a single narrative. But there's another reason these myths differ: raw political power. When your city controlled Egypt's wealth and government, your local god needed to be supreme. Creation myths weren't just spiritual, they were propaganda. They legitimized authority, directed resources to temples, and established priestly hierarchies that controlled massive economic engines. Religious truth and political power were inseparable. The rise and fall of cities meant the rise and fall of gods. As power shifted from Heliopolis to Memphis to Thebes, creation stories evolved, adapted, and merged. Egyptian theology wasn't static. It was a living, breathing political document rewritten with each new dynasty.
3 cities, 3 gods, 3 ways the universe began. The Egyptians didn't see contradiction. They saw completeness. Atum's emergence from chaos, Ptah's cosmic thought, Amun's hidden power, each revealed a different face of the same infinite truth. We want one answer. They embraced three. Maybe that's why Egyptian civilization lasted 3,000 years. They understood something we've forgotten, that the biggest questions don't have single answers, that different perspectives illuminate different truths, that the universe is vast enough to contain contradictions and still make perfect sense. The next time someone tells you there's only one way to see the world, remember ancient Egypt. Remember that they built an empire on the understanding that truth has many faces, that creation has many authors, and that the search for meaning is richer when you're brave enough to hold multiple stories in your mind at once. The waters of noon still surround us. The question is, which God will you call upon to create your world?